And we know the things that are plaguing the economy, but also the strides that have been made by government in many respects. And we're having the town hall meeting, and it's going to be addressed by the Vice President. The Vice President, though, chairs government's economic management team. And 10 a.m. is the time.
It is. Ahead of that, we have a conversation. Kojo Singh will have a conversation. We'll bring that to you live. But we also want to talk about something that we're hoping the Vice President will touch on, because it's something that's affecting all of us, and it's just the power outages, the fact that you don't even know when you're going to go off. It's been said that it has to do with money. There are projects ongoing. You know, it's still back to 2011, 2012.
Well, the money issue, the government doesn't agree.
Okay.
The excuse that has been given is because we need to do some reverse flow of gas, especially from the west to the east. That'll be from the Takrady area to here. And it's one of the reasons, definitely. Okay.
So ASEP has said rather very strongly that this has to, bottom line is money. And the fact that there has to be a timetable, because we go off anyway, but shouldn't we know when we're going to go off? There's a story in the center spread of the Daily Graphic newspaper about the energy minister, and this is found by Doche Kobla Akloboto in Shama in the Western region. The energy minister asking that the players should ensure timely information flow on outages, but not saying exactly who he's speaking to or referring to in this instance. But we want to look at the effects of the outages on businesses. Maxwell Agbagba has done a very extensive report for us. We'll come back. We'll activate the phone lines if we can. We'll speak to a few people. And then we will look at the comments by the president, because the president has talked about this issue. We will listen to him also speak to us. And the Energy Ministry 2 days ago addressed a press conference. We'll look at some of the things that they said at that particular press conference. Here we go with Maxwell Agbagba's report.
Currently here at a corn processing hub, here at Odoko official town. Well, a lot of the workers here at this corn processing hub are not happy about the recent power outages. One of them I've been speaking to here tells me that it is really affecting their business, but they do not have the money to buy a generator to keep the business running when there is a power cut, and they solely have to rely on the national grid. He wants government intervention to stabilize power supply to this community and many other parts of Accra and Ghana.
Sometimes because of the light outs and other stuff, so it slowed the business. No, this work is supposed to start around 6 that week. So when there is light out, it affects because of the heat. And when the sun comes out like this, it's not good for the business. Because inside there is a lot of heat. Yeah, so they have to start early and close around 8, 9 that week. Okay, sometimes, you know, we have to get some product to deliver to customers. Assuming there is no product, it worries a lot. Because they keep calling here and there that they need goods. We don't have any plant or generator. We rely on the electricity. So when the power goes off like this, it affects us most. Yeah. They should put measures in place, you know, because it's not only we, there are other industries around also working. So if it happens that way, it affects everyone. Generator, it's like it costs much, so we only depend on this, but with time we will try to move that, try to get one.
Yesterday, it was off around 6:30, or even before that. And they brought it around 6 in the evening.
Okay. And then today, was there any power outage?
At dawn, it went off again. But before 6, they brought it back up. Part of this side is still off, but part of this side is still on now. Yesterday, we couldn't do nothing at all. Until we closed. Everything used light. Everything. But if you want to cut and there is no light, you can't cut. Cannot do the cut until the light came before. because you have to iron the fabric before you cut. So everything concerned about the lights. So it's disturbing. The generator is there, but the fuel is very expensive now. So you cannot even buy to continue your business.
Well, right here in Dakuman, this section of Dakuman actually has power. The other section right across the streets, they do not have power. Their power supply was disrupted since yesterday, and even now the power has not been restored.
It went off yesterday at, let's say, 3 o'clock at dawn. And they haven't off it, and they haven't on it. And yesterday too, they off it around 4 o'clock in the morning. When 6 o'clock in the evening, they on it. But here they can off it, let's say 5 days, 4 days, and they will not on the light. And it's affecting us more. Here I'm selling fish, chicken, and those kind of meats. So when it comes like that, it normally goes soft. And it will be smelling too, so...
A Deputy Minister of Energy, Amin Adam, said further delay in shutting down the facility was too costly for the state to bear.
We have had to finally take a decision to do the shutdown because for every 1 day that you delay in the shutdown, the government of Ghana is to pay $400,000. That is how much the people of Ghana will have to pay if we further delay the shutdown. Because the contractors have been brought to site for some time now. And so if you have to pay for 10 days, that's about $4 million United States dollars. And you all know the difficulties we have. We need that money to develop our country, to build more schools and more hospitals. We cannot be using it just for postponing something which is an obligation, something we have to do to get better. It's inevitable. And so it's inevitable. And therefore, if you have challenges in the process of changing from total gas to liquids. And don't forget that some of the challenges we have faced is because it takes a number of hours, in some cases days, to switch from gas to liquid. You can't just stop gas and then you pump liquids into the plant and the plant will start generating. It takes time. The adjustment period differs from one plant to another, some for hours, some for days. And that is why you have those challenges.
A Deputy Minister of Power, William Orekwedu, apologized to Ghanaians for the erratic power supply being experienced lately. He acknowledged the effects on businesses and other state institutions, but implored the public to exercise a little restraint as the ministry finds lasting solution to the shortfall.
You hear every now and again, no gas from Nigeria, there's Nigeria pressure is low and all that. Meanwhile, we have huge amounts of gas in the West. So the whole idea is to have the ability to transport our stranded gas, so to speak, from the West, as Dr. Asante was saying, to the East to feed the generators there. So all I will say now is on behalf of the Honorable Minister, the President, of course, to apologize to you for what is happening, I mean the people of Ghana, to what is happening, and assure you once again that we are doing all we can to bring the supply of electricity to normalcy. This is a small price. I know it's disrupting a lot of businesses and even the social life of Ghanaians, but it's, in my humble estimation, a price that we are paying for our better tomorrow. We don't have too many days to go. We have, I think, only...
Yes, about 10 to 12 days.
10 to 12 days.
Responding to concerns regarding delay in communicating the challenge to the public, as well as coming out with a load-shedding timetable to enable the public to plan, CEO of Ghana Gas, Dr. Benjamin Asante, said the decision requires a multi-stakeholder input, which can take quite some time.
On the gas side, and with
except for 1 or 2 unfortunate days, Dumsor is no longer a phenomenon in our country. We have been able to handle Dumsor The huge debt, the 5 billion plus debt we inherited over the energy sector, we've dealt with half of it, and we're in the process of redeeming the other half. Today we're exporting energy to Burkina Faso. We'll begin again to Togo, because we have excess capacity and we're using it to derive more money for our country. It's important that we have reliable, secure supply of energy to be able to power the industries that are emerging, especially our bauxite and iron ore.
Well, so we gave you a dose of varied inserts in there, but the story that started it all was from Maxwell Agbawamavi, and it just showed how consumers were reeling under the intermittent outages that we're witnessing currently across the country.
We've got the Executive Director of the Kumasi Institute of Technology, Energy and Environment, Mr. Ishmael Ajekumhene, on the line. Just want to ask a few things. Good morning to you, sir. If you can hear me, thank you for your time. Mr. Ajekumhene, good morning, if you can hear me. Hello, sir. Hello, good morning to you, sir. Okay, we don't seem to have him on the line. At least he's not responding. Mr. Ishmael Ajekumhene, Executive Director of KITES. That's the Kumasi Institute of Technology, Energy and Environment. Just a few things that we want to put to him. Let's see if we can re-establish contacts. Good morning to you, sir, if you can hear me. Hello, good morning, Mr. Ajekumhene. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for your time, if you can hear me.
Good morning, Mama V.
I hope you're doing well, sir.
By God's grace.
Okay.
Yourself?
I am very well, thank you. So do you also experience the intermittent power outages that some of us are experiencing?
Mama V, can you speak out a bit? I'm sorry I missed that.
Okay, so I'm asking of your personal experience with the outages. Do you also experience it?
Yes, I am. Especially on Sunday, I think virtually the whole day I didn't have power. I mean, the daytime, it came around 8 p.m. So, but subsequently, I think I've been I'm normally not in the house, so anytime I get home, there's power. But on Sunday, I was at home and I need from morning to like 8 o'clock, I think I didn't have power.
Okay. But you're a professional in this area, this energy sector. So I've got to ask you, do you have a timetable? Do you know how it's working?
No, not really. Unfortunately, that can only come from all I know. And you know that maybe in a particular day, you know the deficit in the generation mix and what will be required to be able to meet the demand. So I normally will have a sense of how much load needs to be shared. But in terms of how it's being shared and how it's being distributed, I have no idea.
Does this remind you of 2011, 2012, when, if I'm correct, when we started experiencing the blackouts, the various explanations that came through? Is this bringing back some sort of memory?
It does, except that this time around, I am not too worried because the problem should be, they should be able to solve the problem much, much quicker than 2011, 2012. At those times, we actually didn't have too many options. We simply didn't have the generators, and some of them had broken down. This time around, I know for sure, Mama B, that we do have excess capacity. I heard one of the stories that you were playing about the president saying that we need to be exporting power and all that. Yes, we do have, when all the generators are on, we do have excess capacity that we are even struggling to find outlets for them. So explanations being given to us explain part of the issue. In fact, it's true. That's what is causing these significant shortfalls in the generation. But the reason why I say it only explains part of the story is that we've known for some time now that this was going to happen. And unlike previously, this time around, we do have the generators that if we have sufficient fuel, they should be able to close that gap that has been created by those outages or the shutdown of that trouble plant. So this time around, I want to believe that I think based on the information I have, this problem should be resolved much, much quicker. And beyond that, I don't see if the gas is coming consistently, I don't envisage any problem because probably we do have installed capacity in excess of 5,000, and our peak demand is around 2,600. So unlike previously, of course, of the 5,000, some of the plants you don't, in terms of when you want to prioritize, because of the cost, you need to, when you are dispatching them, you need to make sure that you're going in for the one that is the least cost. But quite frankly, yes, it does bring memories of old, but it's something that is very much within our means to resolve very quickly.
So for the ordinary person such as myself to understand, what is the problem? Why are we here?
Say that again, Mama B.
I'm asking for all of us watching and listening right now to understand in the very basic way, what is the problem? Why don't I have consistent power at home or in the office?
It's very simple, Mama B. I've told you our peak demand, daily peak demand is around 2,600. For the past 1 week or so, we are generating less than that. So when you are not generating enough, it means that you can't give power to meet that demand. So it's as simple as that.
Okay, so why are we not generating enough?
Okay, so that's what I said earlier. Part of the reason is that most of our plants are running on gas. And because gas is cheaper than all the other fuels, they would rather we run on gas because then we need less money to be able to generate electricity. But the intertie thing meant that they shut the West African gas pipeline, which means that we wouldn't get gas. Ameri is completely down because Ameri runs solely on gas. And then we were thinking, okay, they were expecting some gas to come from, of course, there is a contract with the Nigerians where they are supposed to deliver a minimum of about 60 billion standard cubic feet, which would have been enough to run most of the assembly plants. So Ameri is gone, and the Takoradi plants are not doing full capacity because not all the three, each one has 3 units, and not all of them are at work. Most of them, it's only 1. So both plants are doing a third of their capacity. And then Asogli is also doing a fraction. So what would have prevented what we are in would have been for AXA and Car Power to have also operated at full capacity. But for some reason, they are also not doing capacity.
So is it that we're not planning ahead? We didn't know that this was going to happen. It almost sounds like it's an emergency, but it wasn't supposed to be an emergency because we knew we would get here.
Yeah, so if you recall, I had said earlier on that that's why I don't buy the explanation given to us. It's only part of the story because this was a planned shutdown, okay? So if we had enough fuel, the HFO and the car powers were doing full capacity, we probably wouldn't have shared. But I think the plan was for some gas to have also come from the West African gas pipeline, which not for some strange reason, when we having challenges, the Nigerians also decide for some reason they don't give the gas. So Asogli wasn't supposed to do what they are doing. Asogli should have done more than they are doing, but they didn't have the gas coming from Nigeria. So yes, they planned, but I think bottom line is that whatever is causing the car power and AXA not to run at full capacity is the main reason why some load is being shared. Because if they were all doing, car power was doing 400 megawatts, and if AXA was doing 300 megawatts, that should have been able to close the gap, even though the very plant the gas wasn't coming from. So you could say that we didn't plan enough, but we had always known that this shutdown. In fact, it was even delayed for a couple of weeks because it should have the shutdown. Ghana gas should have gone off from I think the 20th or something like that. And they waited till 30th thereabouts. So I think we should have been good. But I think the backlash is now for them to know that this cannot be allowed to happen. Since this happened, I think they move quicker than one would have thought. There's enough, I guess there's enough fuel. Yesterday I read somewhere that Grinko is saying that we're doing almost just about what we need, 2,600. So I suspect that the problem will disappear before the 12 days. But the 12 days is really what Ghana Gas needs to connect the two pipelines. And that is very, very important. For me, even though it has been inconveniencing us, it is very, very important that the reverse flow is done because there are several times that, in fact, we do have excess gas in the west, whereas we don't have gas for the plant in the east. So if that reverse flow happens, then we'll be able to evacuate the gas that is coming from the Sankofa field as well as the Jubilee, and then at least we'll be in terms of fuel security, will be in a very much stronger position than we were before the entire time. But bottom line is that we knew about that. We should have planned much earlier so that this would have happened. Of course, they will tell you that they didn't expect that there will be zero gas from Nigeria, but you plan with all these unforeseen contingencies.
So I haven't heard you made reference to money. ASAP thinks that this is a money issue. What is it? Bottom line money?
You see, the money has always been an issue because the indebtedness is still there. But for the past 2 years, for some reason, they were finding money to buy the fuel. So that's why I had said that I wouldn't blame the problem. I wouldn't put it down to money, as in money causing this. This government knows the implications of plunging this country into darkness. So they've done everything possible, even in the midst of all the constraints, to keep the system running. The money is, yes, money is a problem. The last time tariffs were increased was in March 2018. It was actually even decreased. The exchange rate has changed, and money is always going to be a problem. And the money situation is even getting worse because of the idle capacity that we have. We have to pay for them, but we are not using those capacities. So it's a problem. But that is not why we are in this situation. And I've always said that I'm not saying they don't have challenges, but they've always found a way of buying fuel or importing fuel or importing power from Côte d'Ivoire so that we are good. And once the gas, unlike crude and HFO, where we have to find the money before we are supplied, with the gas, especially the Sankofa one coming in, these are indigenous gas. We have a little bit control, so we'll be able to get reliable fuel to run the plant. But yes, the debt situation is not a joke and has to be tackled. But that is not why we are in this situation, because where we are now, in fact, it's in our interest to make sure the plants are all running, because the contracts we signed, they are all take-or-pay contracts. So can you imagine having your people sleeping in darkness, whereas you are also paying for capacity charges for idle capacity? So I honestly think that, yes, money, this government doesn't have bottomless pit of money. They really have challenges, but they've managed to find money until this time. I think it's a gas thing that really, and having so many of the plants going off and probably not bringing in enough HFO
So, Mr. Jacob, I hear you say we have money issues, but this is not necessarily a money problem now.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do have money issues because when you have a sector that is indebted to the tune of close to 2.5 billion, and we're talking about dollars here, not people. So you still have those debts overhang, and that's why the ESLA was meant to have been tackled.
Okay. So,
but why we are in darkness is not because we don't have money. It's as simple as that. I would debate everybody because I think we are not in the situation because of money.
So I've got perhaps a very last question, and this is on behalf of all citizens of Ghana. What do we have to do to get a timetable? Even if we're going to go off, if this is going to last for 2 days or 3 days, what do we do? What must we do to get a timetable? We deserve to know when we're going to go off, don't we?
Well, maybe we deserve to know, and I agree with everybody, except that they always keep telling us that they tell you that, and this is not even just this time around. Remember when the doomsday started some time ago, we were getting similar feedback from the utilities until it really got worse. Because they will tell you that sometimes they will tell you to shed maybe 100 megawatts of load. And then something will change, maybe the demand will go up or it will come down further. And then you would have told somebody the person will be on, the person will be forced to go up. So normally when it's short term, they are very hesitant to give us a timetable. But if it, like you said, even if it's a day, just like when they are doing scheduled maintenance, they will tell us you're going to go up from morning to 5. I think we should be told so that we can plan our lives.
So what must we do to get them to do it?
PRC, the regulator, has said that they are demanding a timetable from the utility. So let's see what happens in the next few days. Because PRC has, yesterday I heard PRC saying that they are demanding a timetable from the utility. And they'll keep giving you those excuses. And when you have the Ministry of Energy also saying that there's no need for a timetable, it creates more problems for even the regulator's ability to demand and get them to release the timetable. But
what's the technical committee?
PDS,
what's the technical committee saying?
They will need GRICO to advise them before they'll be able to come up with a timetable.
I just wanted to chip in. What's the technical committee saying?
Say that again.
I'm asking what the technical committee of the PRC is saying.
What the technical committee?
With regards to the timetable.
And what the technical committee is doing?
Is saying regarding the timetable. The timeliness of it.
The technical committee only works for the whole the board, okay? There are several subcommittees on the PRC, just the board, the committees of the board. So the technical committee, whatever comes from the commission goes through the secretariat. The board doesn't deal directly with the citizenry. So,
so what you're saying is that
if the PRC is demanding a timetable, it is the secretariat and the commission which is demanding, including the technical committee.
Okay. All right.
And beyond instructing them, the next move will be to take them to court. And I'm sure the commission will be ready to go a step further if they don't get the feedback from the utility.
So how long?
The PRC can only issue orders. And if it's not complied, they don't have a power of prosecution. They only have to go to court and get their orders.
Okay, understood. But for how long will the PRC have to wait to get feedback or to get the power distributors to respond to their requests?
Okay. I've known for a fact that it's difficult for the PRC to get the utilities to respond promptly. I'm sure you recall when this issue with the Ghana Water Company, came up. It's taking quite some time now. When the PRC felt that their orders were not being complied with, PRC is in court with Ghana One. Okay, so and it comes back to the legal system. PRC doesn't set the date for the court hearing. So even if it gets to the point where PRC will say PDS and GRICO, they haven't complied with their orders, they can only go to court. So I'm saying that it was yesterday that they told us that they are demanding for this timetable. If it doesn't come, the commission will have to meet and decide on the next line of action.
Okay. All right. Very grateful for your time. That's been quite extensive. Thank you very much for your time. That's Mr. Ishmael Ajekomhene. He's Executive Director, KITES, Kumasi Institute for Technology, Energy and Environment. Roland, we're on to another conversation, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I know that many viewers would want to comment on this subject. And as always, please make sure that you put or you tag those comments on our Facebook page. We're all feeling the frustration, but we're told that today is the second day of the 12 days. So don't worry, I just left it.
Mr. Jacobi says it could be even earlier than the, than the 12 days. But we just want a timetable.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. At least let us know so that today when I go to my home in Ajekojo and there's light off, I know that
before you leave the office, you know what to expect at home.
Yeah. So this is what I've been doing. I've been trying to charge my phones and things, get my laptop all ready so that just in case I have the emergency work to do, I'm able to prepare for the next morning.